New week, so time for a new update. Basically, price has been ranging for the past 2 weeks inside this range where we have our naked range low and then our naked range high, and then have been forming more or less like a range in the upper half of this range. So if you look at the volume profile, obviously most of the price action happened in this part of the range, and price has tested the value area low a few times. And right now it did it again. So what is going to happen today will be pretty telling for the rest of the week, because I feel like if we do not reclaim the breakdown level, that the risk is there that we will roll over and lose our value area, and then gonna fill the imbalances in the lower part of the range, which would open the doors to the range lows around 60Ks. So that's gonna be pretty important what's gonna happen from here. I'm locally watching this potentially also as an 1, this being the 2 with the weekly open dump. Potentially this could also go over into a local accumulation going back to the range highs. So there are a few possibilities I am watching, but for now, yeah, main structure is still bearish, and until we confidently reclaim the breakdown level, yeah, not feeling in the mood to chase anything. So yeah, patience will always pay off. Then quickly, oh, that's wrong. What happened during the weekend yesterday? I made a post about that potential bearish PO3, which was formed after last Thursday by SFP'd the market structure low. So it failed to close below this former low, in which the high was tested again, and we internally broke structure back to bullish, right there. And since then, price has shown a lot of choppy price action, but basically it just mitigated. And then here, ultimate chop going into the weekend, where yeah, this was all like massive internal chop, not worth trading in my opinion. And then later in the weekend, like I showed yesterday, this looked like a bearish PO3, with this being the starting point, this being the range low, and then price moved above the range, stayed within the deviation threshold, and then I think like yesterday I shared the post right here that we came back in the range and that we left supply behind right there. Oh, supply. So price broke internal structure back to bearish, which was more like here, retested supply, and then had like some local price action where we broke structure again, and then on the directly on the weekly open, we saw a massive move down, which was, I believe, exactly at or very near, yes, put in at hour 0. So directly at the weekly open, we started to push lower. So this candle, let's mark that out. That one right there is our weekly open a dump. And as we know, a lot of times when you form your P1 very early in the day or with this very small wick, then that can give some warning signs. So we can look at the stats from private data, as always, and the daily. Then we can see that we have some big warning signs, like 92% of the daily highs form after 0005, and 96% of the days have a bigger wick to the upside. So based on the daily stats, this high right here is a pretty big magnet to clear at least that candle. And then if we look at the weekly, we can see that based on distance statistics, 94% of the weeks form a bigger wick. So both on daily and on the weekly, the current daily high has a big warning sign, so it could be taken out later in the week. And that's also why today's price action is so interesting, because we know that the P1 often gets formed like on time. If we look at it, most of the times it happens on Monday. So if we look, we see that 71% of the weekly P1s get formed on a Monday. So with current data, we know that we have a current P1 is right there, which has a high likelihood to be taken out. And the current low is put in around hour 2, I believe, hour 1. So both can be pretty good weekly P1s as well, which offers us a great use case that either this is going to be taken out, which would make this a strong low, or this high holds and we make new lows, and then we either SFP this level and then potentially reverse from there, or in my opinion, we have then a loss of our value area, and it's very high probability that we're gonna fill that lower part of the range where almost no volume has been transacted. So we have now New York Open is an hour from now, so it's gonna be important what price does. I have marked out some levels because if you look at your local structure from top to bottom, we have lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, massive break lower. So basically this whole range, supply range, is also in line with the hourly structure. So let's say this is our range supply. So I have alerts set in this zone where I'm interested if we manage to flip this zone. That will be a massive sign of strength to me, which would validate that this is our weekly P1, our weekly low. And then I'm pretty sure that we will make our way back up to the range highs. However, until that happens, this is still a massive level of supply. And also, if we just look at the overall structure, it's still bearish. It's not showing much signs of strength yet. So what can also happen is that you here feel to show strength, and then we'll get that move towards the low 60Ks as explained earlier. So what we're gonna do today is gonna be pretty important. So I have alerts set at this supply and into demand, because we can see that very locally. I'm not sure if we did. Yeah, so you can say that here this is your 5-minute structure. So that was a bullish break. Then we have not retested this level again. We did retest this local supply range, where you again had a local range, give an internal bullish break, mitigate this demand. So this could potentially, if it has enough of well, it can move already up from this local range. But yeah, like the key points, let's say that this is our mitigated range demand or supply. The key levels to watch, in my opinion, are the fresh demand at the bottom. Let's see if we have, yeah, like on the 45, you can say it's that lower part, but I will take this whole local range as PY. And then the supply above, which is the level the bears want to defend. So main PY, this supply right here, and the demand below. If you want to trade with the trend, short still are the easier option, because every trend right now is down, including the 1 hour and 4 hour and stuff. So yeah, most likely outcome is a lower high for a low low. However, because we have that weekly open dump, we have that big warning signs at this high. We could take out this high, and then it's going to be important if we manage to flip it, in which the 70Ks, in my opinion, are the next target. However, as said, the retest of these levels is going to be very, very key, because we are once again back below the value area low. So in my opinion, you don't want to lose this low again. So best case scenario, in my opinion, is that we move down with structure into this range low, demand, flip structure there, then target this supply, and that reaction in that supply will be key to determine if we just gonna form a lower high for a lower low in this supply, or that we flip this local supply zone and then open the doors back to the 70Ks. That's basically the main thing I'm currently watching. Let's have a look at if we have some levels. Yeah, then yeah, current Monday's low, Monday's high. Yeah, to me, the reaction here will be key. You can also say like your internal structure from the low up is this higher low, higher high. So if you come back down here, you want to be a quick mitigation before higher, because you don't want to break your internal structure back to bearish, because that will be a sign of weakness. Let's see, what is our structure pool here. Yeah, for now, I would say main PYs, low demand right here, the supply above there. Flip this, confirmed bullish. Look here for maybe a mitigation of that demand, quick SFP right here, and then trade your local structure from low to high, and we watch for here. And if I see weakness in this supply, then I'm also looking for shorts, because as said, losing or now consolidating too long below the value area low, which is right here, yeah, has a big risk that if we cannot accept back in the value area high, value area low, then there's a big risk that we gonna feel this volume inefficiency in the lower part of the range. So basically, that is my plan. Alerts at this supply, alerts in this demand, and then just see what's gonna happen and which will be our weekly P1. So for now, that's the main plan. Yeah, I think plans are clear for now. Remaining patient and seeing what the reaction will be in in this zone. Local demand, local supply. Flip supply, we are bullish. Fail to hold the demand, we are bearish. And yeah, if you get local structure, you can try some longs. For now, I'm just monitoring what will happen. Not here to guess any outcome. I have no idea, literally. So thanks for watching again. If you have any questions, let me know. In the Telegram, I will update some more. And then next week, DD Trading will launch, the Discord server with daily live streams and stuff like that. So yeah, working on that behind the scenes. And in the meantime, just trading the local levels right here. So let's see what the coming week has to bring. Thanks for watching and happy clicking as always.